More budget cuts are in store for the year. Stay tuned to see how much.
Pope Benedict has officially stepped down. More to come on this historic event.
A civil rights icon has been immortalized in stone. We'll have all the details coming up.
The East Coast will soon experience another snowstorm. I'll give you the latest in weather. Newscene starts right now.
Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of Newscene. I'm Dallas Richter.
And I'm Alec Fernandez. Thank you for joining us.
Lawmakers have known this day was coming since 2011, but they have failed to avert its arrival. Federal budget sequestration starts today. Several congressional leaders met with Obama
a dictator. I'm the president. So ultimately, if Mitch McConnell or John Boehner say, I am not a dictator, I'm the president. So ultimately, if Mitch McConnell or John Boehner say, we need to go to catch a plane, I can't have Secret Service block the doorway, right? So
the party is willing to compromise on their position on the sequester, preventing any deal from being reached. Astrid Mendez-Medina is here with more information. Astrid?
Dallas, Alec. The sequester plan is on. This means for San Diego, thousands of job cuts, also delays at the border and, long lines at the airport. So how is this going to affect us not only here in San Diego, but also on the national level? Well, it's going to affect us all, and it's going to be hard.
Accountable, and that's what my constituents elected me to do.
You're not going to get any special medals to stand up for what we know is avoidable.
This has been the argument for the past months. Both Democrats and Republicans blame each other for their inability to reach an agreement on spending cuts. In the end, the deadline came without a resolution. The $85 billion in mandatory cuts have taken effect today, immediately. Federal employees and contractors from Homeland Security and the Defense Department will be the first to experience cuts in funding, pay reductions, and even layoffs.
Most people don't even know what the word sequester means. Sequestration equals unemployment.
However, sequestration also means reductions in the future for federal programs that support education and healthcare. Border points of entry, including airports, are already expecting longer lines.
Is that there is going to be harm, there is going to be pain, and the American people are going to be less safe.
The plan to cut $1.2 trillion in government spending over 10 years by increasing cuts every single year until 2021, when more than $150 million will be saved with this strategy.
And the impact of this policy won't be felt overnight, but it will be real.
Analysts believe over 2 million jobs will be lost in the U.S. during this 10-year plan. California is expected to see a reduction in federal funding for almost $90 million. At least 2,000 employees could be laid off. Nonetheless, the sequestration effects won't be felt until next month, and only time will say if these cuts really paid off.
Unfortunately, more economic agreements need to be made by the Congress at the end of the month. But with this reference, it seems like more turmoil is going to be happening at Washington in the next weeks. And fortunately, this is going to help everyone to understand what sequestration means. It definitely is going to have a lot of impact in our lives, and everybody just needs to start saving and do something about it.
Hopefully the impact's not too negative. Thank you so much, Astrid.
You're welcome.
All right, for the first time in 600 years, the leader of the Catholic Church has stepped down. He officially resigned yesterday. Judith Gutierrez has more on the story.
A new life is in store for His Holiness. Pope Benedict XVI will be the first pope to resign in nearly 600 years. Brad Kirkgard, a religious study professor at SDSU, did not believe he would see this during his lifetime.
He says that the world is changing so fast, and that in a world that is changing so rapidly, that he felt that he couldn't do what was necessary.
The Pope is stepping down after 8 years. His old age and ailing health led to his choice. City College student Raymond Macias agrees with his decision.
I think it was a good move, honestly, from his behalf. Just for the fact that his health became a factor.
The retiring pontiff will be known as Pope Emeritus and live the rest of his life in seclusion. He will no longer wear his red loafers and his papal ring will be destroyed. During his last audience address, he spoke of his challenge he faced as Pope.
The decision I have made after much prayer is the fruit of a serene trust in God's will, the deep love of Christ's Church. I will continue to accompany the Church with my prayers, and I ask each of you to pray for me and for the new Pope.
More than 100 cardinals gathered in Vatican City to say goodbye. Next week, they will begin secluded meetings to select the new pope.
Everybody would want somebody like Pope Benedict or Pope John Paul because they did such a great job in changing the way Catholicism was looked upon. Somebody like that with those fresh new ideals would help the church advance.
The cardinals will notify us with white smoke once they have elected a new Catholic leader. With photojournalist Casera Head, Judith Gutierrez, Newscene.
The cardinals in the Vatican are looking to elect a pope by Easter, and when they do, it will be the first time in history that two popes will be alive at the same time and living within the Vatican.
Former Republican Senator Chuck Hagel has been sworn in as the new defense secretary. Hagel was confirmed after a contentious fight that fell mostly along party lines. The vote was 58 in favor and 41 opposed, with 4 Republicans defecting to support the nomination. Senator McCain had led the Republican opposition to their former colleague for his past statements on Israel, Iraq, and Iran.
I do not believe that Chuck Hagel, who is a friend of mine, is qualified to be Secretary of Defense. But I do believe that elections have consequences, unfortunately, and the President of the United States was reelected. The President deserves an up or down vote.
Senator Hagel will be the first former enlisted man to become Defense Secretary.
Hundreds of undocumented immigrants are being released from custody. Immigration and Customs Enforcement confirmed the release of many non-criminal detainees. Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano says the cuts are necessary to reduce spending in her department. It costs about $150 per day to detain an illegal immigrant, according to the American Civil Liberties Union. Immigration officers say the released individuals remain under supervision and are still at risk of being deported.
Connecticut lawmakers have urged Facebook to take down fraudulent and abusive pages related to the Sandy Hook Elementary shooting. U.S. Senators Richard Blumenthal and Chris Murphy wrote to Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg in a joint letter. The senators requested the social media site to remove pages that violated the privacy of grieving family members. Facebook released a statement saying the response team has, quote, acted swiftly to remove any inappropriate materials, end quote, and they will continue to work vigilantly.
A local California
Mom?